Okay, Rex, can you help me out? So, um, once again, we're speaking today about topic that's very important, and that's topic of health and wellness. And specifically today, let me see if that's better. No, that's good. And specifically today, we'll speak about our concept of health, which is the system of simple steps that, if taken by any person, and I'm stressing any person, they will be able to extend their life. They will improve the quality of their life, and they can avoid multiple health issues or resolve multiple health issues that they have. So I'm going to mute everybody just to make sure that there's no disturbance. And if you want to unmute yourself later, you will. But for now, I'm going to ask a little attention from you. I'm even going to turn off my phone. Okay, so first of all, very quickly, the reason I'm talking about this topic, because a couple years ago I was introduced to the idea that I'm going to share with you. When I was introduced to this idea, I was going into my 40, and everybody was saying, "Oh, Roman, 40 years old is a horrible age. Many people at the age of 40 start to break down." And I actually felt that. I felt that my body is starting to decline, my physical ability, my energy level. And to add to that was Katrina's mom's stroke that actually added a lot of stress to our family, to our life, and made us pretty much, like Katrina says, live in the car in between home, jobs, daycare for Maria, and the nursing home. So at the time, I was overweight. I definitely did not have energy I wanted to have to do my martial art classes. And I met these people who shared with me the idea that I'm going to share with you today, which drastically changed everything. It's changed my energy level. It's changed my weight, which I lost about 20 pounds since then. And all of this was done without starvation, without excess exercise, actually without going to gym at all, besides doing some of the martial arts and the routine that I'll share with you in a second. And now, number one, I just shared with some guys before we started that I received compliment today that I look like I'm 33, and I was 33 9 years ago. So that is actually, this year will be 10 years ago. So anyhow, the system is very simple, and once people understand it, and once I heard it, I said it's really disturbing. Nobody knows about this. And when I analyze it more, actually, we all know about it, but we don't do it. And there are so many reasons why we don't do it. And my job is here, my mission, I would say, is to spread the word and to help people to understand this concept, to apply it, and I help them step by step to go through this concept. But before we get to what the concept is, I'm going to start with what people do right now. And it starts with regular people around here. See it? Is it reverse or is it normal? I think
It's normal.
okay.
This is good.
So many people in today's world do something like this. We take vitamins, or we watch our nutrition. And they saying that's all we need to do for our health. And they usually do it not even regularly, do it like in the spring and in the fall. Why in spring and fall? That's the time when people get sick most often, and they believe that's okay. So in a few minutes, you will understand that it's not okay. Um, so we start in our system with number one, and it's normal, right? We don't start with step number three. We start with step number one, and that's called hydration. I think all of you heard that we are 70–80% of water. And it's not a secret that if we don't drink water, we can survive about 3, maybe 4 days tops. After that, the body dies. That should be a sign that water is important in our system, in our life, and it's more important than, let's say, food, because without food we can live for a week or 2 weeks and we still may be able to function, right? Without water, not so much. It's 70% of our body in average is water. So when we speak about water, we need to understand a couple things, that we're not talking obviously about dirty water. Dirty water is not good for anybody, so that's out. We're talking about clean, drinkable water. And any water that is clean and drinkable has some qualifications or some qualities. And we spread them into two categories. We talk about quality and quantity. What about quality? Obviously clean, but on top of that, we need to look at something additional, because we all have the bottled water. We have expensive filter systems in our homes, in our offices. You can buy all of this stuff in the stores. But here's the thing: anything that goes through the filtration is dead. Anything that goes into the bottling process is dead water. If you ever been to like any kind of natural springs and you're trying to put the water into the bottles and take them home, the locals will tell you don't do it because you're wasting your energy. In a day or two, that water will be dead. All the healthy and beneficial nutrients that you have in the water at the spring are going to be lost. So obviously, you cannot have something alive for a long period of time when we're talking about water. So two qualifications that I want, actually three, I'm going to outline here. First one is pH level, and the pH level is acidity. Our body is a system that is slightly alkaline. I'm going to use different marker here, and I'm going to use red because that's pretty much line between the life and the death. And we are about here, 743. We are dead here, we're at 0, right? That's the most acidity, acid. And we very happy up to about 10. And again, we will be dead at 14. Okay, so our body is 743. We measured water in multiple places here in New York, Queens, Long Island, and at best we are about 7, which is 7 pretty good, right? It's only 43 hundredths of our blood level. But everything we eat today, everything is cooked, everything that's fried or anything else is in this direction. Meaning when we add it to our body has to neutralize it and bring it back to 743, so we're not dying from oxidative stress. Now, our ancestors, when they were still in the forest, living in the fields, they did not eat anything in this range, or maybe very few fruits or some vegetables that are acidic. But primarily their food was here, alkaline. All the greens, all the uncooked food, it's all alkaline. So their body was fine and functioning normally. Our body over the last couple hundreds of years changed the diet drastically, so our bodies are declining faster. And what the body does to save us, because we can tell that we live longer than our ancestors, right? But that's different reasons. We have better medical care, we have safer environment, there are no too many wars, there is no people jumping at us on the streets. So our body has this protection mechanism, which is alkaline minerals in our body, which is calcium, magnesium, sodium. And what our body does, instead of dying, it takes those minerals from our body and neutralizes acidity to bring the acidity level to 743. Now, if we drink water that is also acidic, that's also using, the body also uses the energy and alkaline minerals to neutralize that water, which is really ridiculous idea. We have to waste energy on something as simple as water. Simple water is the simplest matter on earth. Okay, and actually, again, 70% of it needs to be in our body. So what we do, our pH level in our water is in between 7.5 and 9.5, which is much better than what we have in any other source of water. And what it does, instead of using our alkaline minerals to neutralize acidity in our body, the water does it for us. So we're not only not wasting energy on processing water and making it more accessible to our body, but we're also saving our body by drinking this water. Number two is oxidation redox potential, redox potential, P, or RP. And just if you don't know, we are negative inside. Our electric charge is about minus 70 millivolts inside of our body, when between the minus 70 to minus 100. And all the waters, again, that we tested with Katrina from Queens to Long Island were in a range from 200 to 400 positive. So now just imagine our body, again, to process the water, had to reduce the charge from positive 400 to negative 100 before it can process it. So no wonder why people getting tired by drinking water, why they cannot drink water to begin with, and why they swollen. You drink the water, the body has to keep the water inside of you to process it, use all the energy you have, and only then can consume it. So the oxidation redox potential has to be around negative 100. And again, when we drink our water, it has that quality. The last one is the structure. Or to make it simpler, it's softness. What we drink is very soft water, and many people who start drinking our water, they realize that it's much easier to drink it. It's not hard. It actually has some taste. If people have very picky tastes, right? For me, it doesn't taste different than other water, but it's definitely easier to drink it. So we have the qualities. Now, what about quantity? There are so many different suggestions: 8 cups, 2 liters, 1.5 liters. It's all good, but for my 4-year-old, 2 liters will be too much. For me, for my body, 2 liters will be too little. So also compare a person who lives in the North Pole, where it's cold, with the person who lives in equator, which is hot. So they cannot have the same amount of water to be drunk every day, because even though they have everything else, the similar age, similar height, weight, even the work environment that they do, I mean the job that they do, they still have to drink different amount of water. So the science right now comes to about this formula. It's about 30 milliliters per kilo of your weight, kg, or half an ounce per pound. This is the minimum. Now, it's not the end. The other side of the range is 50 milliliters per kilo to 1 ounce per pound. And again, I'm giving you a range. So if person lives in a cold climate and sits all day long, obviously they don't need to drink too much. They just need to drink enough to replenish the water supply that they use with sweating, spitting, going to toilet, breathing, and stuff like that. But if person lives in a hot climate, or the climate that we live here in New York, it's fairly hot in the summer, and we exercise or we run outside or we do something else, we have to increase the amount of water, not only to replenish, but also to maintain our processes in the body. So that's step number one, hydration. How often do you have to do it? Every single day. Your body needs water every single day. One more thing that you need to know about water, it has the very important function in our body. It's called transportation. Transport. What does it transport? the water transports inside of our body nutrients. And those nutrients serve two purposes, either to feed us or create energy or to have a building materials. So imagine if the water does not deliver those goods, we don't either have energy or we don't have building materials or both. So what's going to happen with our body or our building or our car? Let's assume our car is our body is our car. It's going to die or break. The other function the transport has is to remove from the body stuff that our body doesn't need. Talking about toxins, we're talking about waste, right? Our body is functioning, and any functioning machine has waste. Turn on your car and look at the exhaust pipe, right? Close it up, and the car is going to stop. So same thing with our body. If we don't remove waste, to some extent our body can handle it, but eventually it's going to get stuck. So that's important to remember. Now, step number 2. Don't like this. Step number 2. Different people call it different way. I like to call it internal hygiene. Internal, I'll abbreviate, hygiene. Do we brush teeth in the morning? Do we take shower after exercise or after working out, after going to a store? Yes, we do. Do we comb our hair? Yes, we do. Do we wash our cars once in a while? I mean, some people don't, but generally speaking, right? We clean our apartments, we clean dishes. So we do all of that. But how many times did we clean inside of our body? For me, up until 3 years ago, 0 times. I never fasted. I never did any cleanses. I just did not think it's necessary because simply I did not know about it. So now I learned that actually our body inside needs as much care as it needs to be taken care of outside. And we're going to speak about 3 different directions in the internal hygiene right now, and we'll put it like 1, 2, and 3. So the first one will be toxins. I'll split them in 2 as well. Our body, like I mentioned, exposed to a lot of toxins. We breathe air, we eat food that unfortunately today has a lot of chemicals inside of it, a lot of preservatives, a lot of things that were not supposed to be in our food to begin with. And again, our ancestors, they did not have to deal with this because they simply ate natural, 100% natural food. Even today, when you go to the store and look at the label, it says natural, does not mean it is natural, okay, or organic. You have to really dig deeper, and each certification, there is a bunch of them. I have this book here, it's called Food. It has all the certification and explains which one means what. So if you're interested, Google that book called Food and go through it, but really it doesn't have to be done that way. We've already done it, it's all here for us. So toxins. The toxins have 2 types, the water soluble and fat soluble toxins. And the water soluble toxins, about 70%. We just heard 70% already. And don't you think it's a coincidence? Our body is 70% water. The toxins that are water soluble are 70% of the entire amount of toxins in our body. That's because if we don't drink water, those toxins are going to accumulate. If we drink it, the body will be able to remove those toxins from us. So I'm going to put here water, and other ones are fat. 70%, 30%. So anything we do not remove from our body is going to get stored. Where does it get stored? Our joints, our fat tissue, our bones, and all of those things eventually cause what? The growth, right? Something that if you pile a lot of stuff in, it's going to get something like a bump. Those bumps translated, and I don't like that word, but I have to say, translated into eventual growth of some kind of tumors or cancers or whatever. And now we have to go through the surgery, we have to go through chemotherapy and stuff like that. But if we take care of our body and we proactively remove toxins from our body regularly, not saying every single day, 365 days a week, a year. I'm saying once or twice a year, we go through this detoxification process and we are extending our life again, and maybe even on the path to prevent the cancerous illnesses or whatever that called. So that's number one. Number two, we have, I don't even know how to abbreviate it here. I'll try. Viruses, bacteria, fungus, parasites. I'll do it like this. So all those little microorganisms live inside of our body. And believe it or not, we have so many of them that science don't even know all of those creatures that we have. Some of them we need for our daily functioning, like viruses, bacteria, fungus. Some of them have a positive effect on our body. Parasites, differently not. The term parasite means somebody who eats at somebody else's home, and obviously they come, they eat what we supposed to eat. They have all their waste saved inside of us or stored inside of us because they don't go out to the toilet, and they die inside of us. So all of that cause not only deficit of nutrients inside of our body because they steal it from us, but they also detoxify our body with their waste. And what happens, it's really hard to identify which parasite we have. There are about 300 of them just known to the science. Can you guess, can you imagine going through 300 tests? And again, how much is going to cost you? So what we suggest, and that's pretty much what we have in our system all along, we suggest instead of looking for the illness, instead of looking for these parasites, just do certain things that will prevent their growth and development of them to the extent that they're going to be harmful to our body, which is called prevention. Once or twice a year, again, we go through anti-parasite program, which will address the parasites, creating conditions in our body where they will have to live. Again, we're not trying to kill them. We're kind of a Greenpeace organization here. We're creating conditions in our body when they cannot survive. It's alkaline environment. We already did it with the water. It's also a little bit sour with different herbs that pushes them away from our body. We limit the intake of food that they would like to eat. What do they like to eat? They like to eat sweets. They like to eat baked stuff. They like to eat something that is not healthy. That's what parasites are about. And if you have cravings for chips or sugar, guess what? Somebody inside of you telling you, you want that, but realistically speaking, your body doesn't want it. That's them who telling you what to eat. So instead of indulging them, we rather show them the door out and preserve our body for ourselves and the nutrients that we eat for our benefit. So viruses, bacteria, and fungus, we don't have to get rid of them completely because then our body will lose most important thing, which is immune system. And immune system is kind of trained by these guys, so we have to just control them at a certain balance. And again, our anti-parasite programs do exactly that. Okay, and let's move to the next level, which is very important, and let's call it digestive tract. Over the last year and something, you probably heard a lot that our immune system starts in our digestive tract or in our intestine. And if our intestine is not functioning properly, then guess what? We don't have immune system or it's very weak. Now, everybody who has a weak immune system are suspect to have all these illnesses. Again, I'm not going to name them, but we all know what I'm talking about. So there are many different ways. I heard from people since 3 years ago when I started doing this, how they cleanse their digestive tract. I'm not really a fan of any of those processes. I heard recently you take milk with a pickle and it all goes out. But guess what? What goes out, not only the bad stuff, but good stuff as well. Or you take some pharmacy products that just make you go to toilet and sit there for a couple hours nonstop. And again, it kills good and bad flora inside of your intestine at the same time. None of those things are acceptable for our system because we're not here to break something to fix something. We're here to only fixing things. So what our digestive tract cleanse does is pushing out of the entire body all the toxins, all the waste into our digestive tract, and then collecting all of it like a sponge and removing it through the regular process once or twice a day, depending on who and how many times does number two. And that's is not painful. It doesn't hurt our intestine. It does not remove the good bacteria, and it only takes care of the stuff that does not supposed to be in our body. Plus, on top of that, our intestinal cleaning cleanse our cleanse actually adds the healthy bacteria after we're done. So we clean and we then fill in with the good stuff right away, because we all know something that's empty is going to be filled with somebody else, and those guys, the bad guys, are not going to wait for too long. Once they have empty space, they're going to jump in. So rather than them, it's us. Now when we gone through hydration and we now drinking good amount of water, of good quality water, we cleanse our digestive tract, we cleanse our toxins, we controlling our viruses, bacteria, fungus, and we got rid of parasites. So now all our food is only ours. Then we can go to step number three that every single person or many people right now do. They drink vitamins, they even take some supplements, they watch their nutrition. And here is another thing that people not really understanding. They say, oh, I eat organic foods. But what do you eat? What does your cell get? And here we're talking about five major areas. We're talking about, let's take vitamins, minerals, fatty acids, amino, amino acids, and enzymes. We can kind of add to here fiber and probiotics. Okay, so now even if you eat, even if you eat healthy diet, but that diet doesn't have in any given day any of these 7 or 6 elements, your body on that given day is giving birth to not so healthy cells. And if you eat vitamins but you don't get enough minerals, they don't get processed in your body or don't get absorbed by your body. If you don't eat fat, you don't have energy. If you don't have amino acids, you don't have a building material for your body. If you don't have enzymes, your body doesn't know what to do with all of these guys, because enzymes are the manager on the construction site that manages who goes where and does what. And fiber and probiotics are helping our intestine. Remember, we spoke about importance of intestine. So those two guys helping our intestine to process the food, to process all the nutrients, and to get them in the right place. And again, if we don't get any of those, that's not good. Now, if we do get them, but we don't do the first two steps, our transportation system is broken and our guests are going to eat it all or most of it, so we're not getting too much. Guess what? We have very expensive urine or whatever, but we're not getting the benefit of it. Now, we've gone through these 3 steps. There is obviously something else I want to tell you. There is step number 4, and that's called protection. Why do we talking about protection? Because if something is broken, meaning it's not protected, it's really hard to fix it. Imagine you are riding bicycle without helmet, you fell on the high speed and you broke your head. you probably can fix it, but how much time it's going to take, how much pain you're going to go through. If you had the helmet, the head would be protected. Now, we just hydrated our body. We cleanse it, or we maintain a hygiene. We fed it with all the correct stuff that our cells need to create healthy body. Now we just need to maintain that kind of status quo, if you wish, for the years to come. And here is the few things that we are attacked or exposed to. And again, I'm going to try to get it here so you see. So we have free radicals. Oh, yeah. We have electromagnetic field. Yeah, we all have these devices right now. And we have, let me use other, because they're really bad, harmful chemicals. So, when our body moves and works, our mitochondria uses used to produce energy, and while this energy is produced, the free radicals are the exhaust from this production. They run in our body and steal electrons from other healthy cells, by which process they destroy in our body and making us to age faster. To some extent, our body is able to protect us, but there's always limit. And like with everything else, there is a limit for our free radicals shield, right? So the body needs to have additional help to stop that aging and stop the destruction of our body by free radicals. So what do? We use antioxidants. Again, many solutions out there. People use lemon, people use vitamin C, people use other products. That is good, but what we are using is the simplest element in the periodic table, which is hydrogen. It's the smallest element, so it's easiest for it to connect to free radicals and leave our body in the shape of pure water. So it's very natural, very safe, and easy and effective. So number two, electromagnetic field. It's no longer a secret that it's not safe to have a lot of electromagnetic field exposure, because it's causing multiple issues. It's damaging the cells, it's damaging the blood cells, brain cells, and we even hearing right now some people talking about changing the DNA of our body. I don't know how much about it. I'm not a doctor, by the way. I forgot to mention this disclosure in the beginning, but it does not matter right now. The point is we all using laptops, tablets, computers, routers, and all of this emits electromagnetic field. If we're not using the protective devices, we are going to get aging faster. We're going to have our immune system weakened. And also, by the way, these guys, viruses, bacteria, fungus, and parasites, they love the radiation. They live in areas that no other living creatures can live, and they enjoy it being in radiation. So the more we expose to it, the more they grow. The more they grow, the less our health is improving and actually declining. Now, the last one, the harmful chemicals. I guess, again, it's not a secret that our cleaning supplies, laundry supplies, dishwashing supplies, they all have a lot of chemicals in them to make sure that they are effective with cold water, with hot water, with whatever water. And even if we go through this entire system and make our body hydrated, clean, fed, but then we wash our dishes in these chemicals, we eat them right back from the plate. So we kind of waste the first three steps we just did. We put the clothing in that washed in those harmful chemicals. Guess what? Our body, our skin inhales that stuff inside. So we still getting that intoxication inside of our body, and that's not good. So what do? We change it for something that is more natural, more clean, and is not harmful to any living creatures, not only human beings. So now let's go through this system real quickly and understand why we need to use it and what the benefit it gives us. Number one, hydration. We drink water, which is a huge part of us. It solves most of the problems inside of our body. And people who just start drinking water, they report that really many issues they had with their health are gone. Just to mention a few, for me, it was headaches, lack of energy, heartburn, bad sleep, and joint pain. Just right there, it's worth to do it. Uh, Number two, internal hygiene. We clean our body from outside. We have to clean it inside if we want to live longer. Uh, there's three steps, very simple: toxins, viruses, bacteria, fungus, parasites, and our intestine. If we miss any of those three steps, guess what? It's not going to be good. It's going to be better than nothing, but it's not going to be good. Are there other ways to accomplish the same goals? Absolutely. And the reason that we're doing what we do just because it's simplest, safest, and most convenient ways. We don't have to spend our time gathering herbs in the forest, drying them, preparing, mixing. It's all done for us. Step number three, nutrition, right? We had vitamins nutrition here, but pretty much that's a cellular nutrition. We're feeding our cells with all the nutrients our cells need on a daily basis. We cannot miss a day with any of these nutrients because our cells are born daily, and on a day when we don't eat it, we are weakening our body. Finally, we have to protect our system from free radicals, electromagnetic field, and harmful chemicals to preserve our beautiful body. Now, I'm going to do a magic trick right now. Look at this. This and this gun. That's what people do. They do number three only. They spend a lot of time, a lot of money worrying about their nutrition, worrying about their supplementation, and they don't really understand why they're doing this for. Most people don't even know what kind of vitamins they take. They just take something that's popular or something that is everybody talks about, but they don't understand that they need to get all of this. What do? We do all of this. And now I have questions for you. A question for you guys. What do you think works better? I mean, that's a rhetorical question. You understand, right? So what we call this is a manual for use human body, which has to be given to every human being when we are born. If we were born many years ago, like most of us, then it has to be given to our children, and it has to be taught to in every high school class, in every college course, everywhere, so people understand that their health is really not about eating well only. It's much more than that. I also don't have here the first two steps, which are accomplished by that do not require any products to be accomplished with, which is our mental attitude towards our health and our physical activities. Everything that we have around us, this board, the laptop that I'm talking with you about, your cell phones, stored it in somebody else's brain. Anything that we accomplish in our life starts in our brain. We first decide to go to school. We first decide to get married. We first decide to buy a car, and only then we buy a car. So if we decide to be healthy, we first have to decide that health is what's important for us. Many people think that illness is not good, and they focus, I don't want to get sick. I have to get treated. I have to get some medications. Guess what they attract in their life? Illness, because they think about illness. What do we talk about here? We talk about here, we talked here about health. So guess what we attract in our life? We attract in health. We attract in energy. We attract in positive emotions. We attract good and happy people here. So mental attitude towards what you're doing with your life is extremely important. And understanding that what you're doing is like critical, and distinguishing fighting the illness versus preserving your health, that will make all the difference. Number two that I mentioned is physical activity. We are all built of muscles, and if muscle is not exercised, it deteriorates and dies. So why people lose sight? Because they don't exercise their eyes. Why they go down with age? Because they don't exercise their brain. While people have weak muscles with age, because they move less. And again, there is a lot of science that prove that doing opposite, meaning exercising more as you age and working with your brain more as you age it, will extend your longevity, will extend your active and productive life, right? Look at all these millionaires, people who are building empires in their 80s and 90s, they still functional, they still leading their organizations. Why is that? Because every day the brain is working. What happens with the average person? They retire at the age of 65 or 67 and they deteriorate right away. Why? They don't go to work any longer, their brain is off, turned off. So it's not in use, it's dying. Why people who exercise, and like if you look at the famous athletes at the peak of their potential, they all muscular, slim. Look at them 5 years after they retired. Big belly, second chin, third chin, fifth chin, right? They cannot go one flight upstairs. Why? Because they're no longer active. So we have to be active every single day. And I mentioned to you that I never gone to gym to lose my weight and to get me in the shape I am in right now. I spend 15 minutes a day, every single day to exercise. I also teach my Aikido class 3 times a week. That's another 40 minutes per day. So it's another, 120 minutes. That's all exercise I do. And I continuously improve my physical shape. Not decrease, I improve my physical shape by doing this 15 minutes a day. What we do with Katrina right now, we're testing on her system that requires 2 exercises per week, 15 minutes each. And that's it. So it's 30 minutes per week. We'll report to you when we're done with this experiment. But anyways, my bottom line is this: we have to understand that our health is completely in our control. Doctors don't treat healthy patients. They don't want to see us. Government doesn't really care about us much, because if we are sick, if we are lethargic, it's easy to control us. If we're healthy and we don't need any of the medical benefits, then it's really hard to control me. I barely go to see doctor. Our employers, do you think they really like us? They need to pay us money. They only like us when we do the job. So anyways, the bottom line is it's only us who want to be in control of our health. It's us who don't want to be a burden for our children or for our parents in some instances. It's us who want to make sure that our parents live as long as they possibly can and our kids are never sick. And we can do it following this system. Whether you do it with our products or you do it with some other systems or some other products, it's fine. But as long as you adopt it and follow this every single day, every single year for your life, it will be 10, 15, 20 years longer. And it will only not be longer, but it also will be different quality. You will have your energy, you will have your productivity, you will be able to contribute to society and not just be a burden to it. Okay, so I think that's about it. If you want to unmute yourself and ask any questions, I will be happy to answer them. We have about 4 minutes or so.
No question, but just to say that was really covered nicely. All clear, all points are covered, everything is understandable and very natural. So there is just applause to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Rom, it was very good speech. Thank you so much. You explained everything. It was great.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I agree. I would say the same thing. Thanks for all the information. At least for myself, I learned a couple of pointers. So I'm going to be calling you either today or tomorrow to get some more names of the vitamins that I should take, right?
Sounds good. Sounds
All
good.
right.
It's my pleasure.
Yep. But it was definitely a good session. Thanks.
Thank you, Asim. Thank you for joining. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, just going to say something that this information is accessible in English and Russian. We can get this on video, and you can use it for yourself. You can share it with other people, and hopefully we'll get more people healthy, happy, energetic, and excited about life, not people who are pretty much stressed out with life. Because I spoke with the guy today, his son is a psychiatrist, and he says that there are so many people right now who suffer from depression or other like mental illnesses. And the big problem of this, many people say, oh, it's because of COVID, it's because of unemployment, it's because of economy. But realistically speaking, none of that would affect them if they knew how to use this system, because they will be able to first find energy in themselves to find another job. I don't believe there is not enough jobs out there. They will be able to make sure that they are not afraid of getting sick, because even if they do get sick, they control their health, they can recover faster because their body will have, remember, digestive tract, strong immune system. So even if you get sick, like we got sick with COVID, we recovered, and actually I'm now better than I was 4 months, 5 months ago. So that doesn't stop me. And all other things will be not such as an importance if people understand that they can control their life with very simple steps, with really simple guidance by us and support of the community like ours. So thank you so much, guys, for joining. I hope that was beneficial. Like Asim said, he got some pointers. I'm glad. And feel free to invite people to our Zooms next time. We'll be speaking more about our company and why and how our company helps us to follow this system on a daily basis with minimum amount of stress, minimum amount of effort, and actually fairly affordable for any kind of budget. Again, my strong belief in the United States, every single household can afford this. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Roman.
you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Roma.
Roma.
You're
Beautiful.
welcome.
Thank
You're
you.
the
Always
good.
a pleasure.
Thanks,
Bye.
Katrina. Thanks to you too.
Thank you. Thank you, Roman.